for coming out. I really appreciate you being here. We all could be anywhere in the world this evening, but you choosing to be here with us, and I super appreciate it. You are in for a treat tonight. Second installment of our history of Tualatin Country Club here, the history in the making. Chris has been working real hard putting all this together, and he's lined up some great speakers for us as well. So I'm super excited to introduce to you our club historian, Chris Newell.
All right, so we're going to go, there's a little bit of a theme for our history night, making history. Since the last time we had it, we've had some historic events happen. So we're going to include that in tonight's gathering. So the two things that we're going to talk about is golf and gathering, and how the two intersect. Golf and gathering is, if you just can't have one without the other. If you just think about from golf pros and what we think about, we're thinking about golf, and then food and beverage, we're thinking about food and beverage, and then how do we get the two to intersect? Well, we do golf, and everybody gets together, and that's how we become friends and be a club, and it's what makes a golf club special, in my opinion, than just going to play a random round of golf somewhere. So we're going to go with the golf, and I want to talk about the history of golf. So as you know, I'm a historian. So we're gonna talk about the origins of golf and some of the connections with the Scottish theme here. So some of you may or may not know that in 1896, Robert Livingstone created the second oldest golf club west of the Mississippi here in Portland, called Waverly. He also played a big role in founding the oldest course west of the Mississippi in 1892 at Earhart. And so if you ever go to Waverly and you look at their history, if you ever have the opportunity to do so, it's pretty amazing. They've got unbelievable content there. You could spend hours there. And there's a big, just right up front, it's Robert Livingstone. So really cool. And then as we kind of get the thing going here, so as we look at golf, it first appeared in Scotland in 1457. It's the first time anybody had talked about it in Scotland. So some of the newspapers that was coming out here back when this club was founded, they always called it the Royal and Ancient Game. We think 1912, that was Royal and Ancient to you or I, but it was around for hundreds of years. So pretty cool. And there's a shepherd. So as most of you know, golf was created by shepherds playing the links land where there were sheep, and the sheep were grazing and cutting grass. And then shepherds, what do they do all the time? They're just looking around and okay, I'll get the ball in the hole. And then it becomes a match. And then golf came out of a very humble beginning. So a lot of times people view golf as like this super high thing that is being done, but if you know anything about shepherds, they're not necessarily the highest of views. So here we go. As far as St. Andrews is concerned, it's really considered the home of golf. It started being played in the 15th century. It's known to be the first rules in the 18-hole format. So anybody that loves history of golf, that's kind of where you want to go. And it's also why I'm considering throwing this out as a little seed that in 2027, we're looking at doing a trip to Scotland and to St. Andrews.
Way to be showing up.
And I have a special connection with somebody that's connected to the Oregon chapter who's been sponsoring, and he knows the people in RNA. And with the RNA connection, there's some special places in the museum that you can get to if you know the right people. So we could potentially have a really special trip revolving around the history of the game first, but then also, how does that tie into Tualatin? What is the history of Tualatin? How does this make sense? Well, one of the first people that come here in the Portland area that were known for golf is the Junor family. George Junor came here in 1904, and he came from Aberdeenshire, Scotland, which is just north of St. Andrews, up on the coast there, and a very well-known club, Cruden Bay. I got a picture here, I hope you can kind of see it. It's called the Punch Bowl. And it's one of the coolest holes in golf, and it's just, you can just, it's also blind when you hit your shot from there, so you don't necessarily know. You walk up, and then you go, oh, that's a good shot. And so a lot of those old golf courses are like that, where there's a little mystery, where's it going to go, where am I looking at, blind shots, all of you can think of hole number 11 here, very similar to that. So I'm a big fan of hole number 11. I love the mystery, it's part of the game, it's for the founding, it's like just you find the land and you play it. So it gives it that character that I love about golf. It's really, really cool. So Cruden Bay comes right through to golf in Tualatin because George Junor, 1904, came here and worked with the original founders here to build the golf course. So George was super instrumental in building golf courses in our area. He made 33 golf courses in Oregon. He's the most prolific designer and course architect in our area that no one really knows about. But he founded our first 9 holes. He created it as well as built the second 9. And then his sibling, John Junor, came from Aberdeenshire as well. And in 1912, he became our first head golf professional here. So we have true Scottish roots in the golf. And I'll just say one thing about John that was really special. I reached out to the Junor family, and they were really, really excited about what we're doing for them and just the history of the game. And so I have a little bit up here. It talks about the Junor family. So you have the superintendent at Waverly, the very first one. You have the superintendent at Portland Golf Club, obviously here. The 3, most exclusive private clubs early on all had the Junor roots. And so you can see, and I got some pictures up there, if you ever want to look into it. The Junor family is like, super incredible for what they've done for us in our area. So we wouldn't have all these golf courses and the game introduced. Some of you may or may not know, but Portland at one time had the most golfers per capita than any city in the nation, and the most golfers of any state in the nation. Yeah, at one time. So it was one of the things I talked about, Derek Sprague, the new CEO of the PGA Director that was here, about Oregon, and he was kind of like, whoa, I didn't know that. Like, yeah, golf is a big deal here in Oregon, has been for a very long time. We're very fortunate to have abandoned dunes in our backyard. So the legacy just kind of continues on, and just it has its roots all the way back into Scotland in the Junor family. And there's John, handsome fella, won the 1926 Northwest Open. And as the legend goes, he shot 70 in the first round of the US Open and got paired with Bobby Jones. Yes. Obviously you don't know his name, so he didn't win. But yeah, Bobby actually did win. Surprise, surprise. And so John was a very accomplished player, and he founded our club. And that's what one last thing about John, I really, really appreciate doing all the research, is hole number 17. That green used to sit much closer towards the fairway, and John was like, hey, let's put that green back towards like where it falls off, so you could really have a dangerous shot if you go on. Have you ever gone long on 17? Yeah, you have John Junor to thank for that, because he thought, gotta make the game a little tougher. That's what the Scots like to do. So, and then these are the comments from the Junor family. They're just really thankful for us and what we're doing. So I know all of you here, obviously you must like history. So, if I was a junior, I think that'd be pretty cool. So, we're going to keep going here. So we have the history of golf PGA of America was started by Scots, so a lot of people don't know that history. And when it came to the Pacific Northwest, we also again had Scots that organized all of the PGA that we had here in the section, the Northwest. Well, Oregon is a big place, and the people here were like, hey, we should do something ourselves. So right here in Tualatin, we had the very first professional PGA golf tournament here, sponsored by a Tualatin member that gave a cup. And it's here on this article right here, 1924, and it was won by our Tualatin professional. It's pretty cool. So when you think of PGA of America, and you think about all the things that have come out of that, the Ryder Cup, the PGA Championship, all those things that you get from the PGA of America started somewhere. And in our area, we've been blessed to have a lot of golf courses that love to host events. So I want to thank all of you, Tualatin, for hosting all of our PGA events. I'm going to put on my PGA hat on for just a second. So thank you all. Yes, Todd?
Do we know the founding member of that donated cup?
Yes, it's Deller. It's on there.
I can't hear what.
A.H. Deller.
Deller?
Yeah, I did some research on him. I wasn't quite sure what I found. So, but sometimes I hit, sometimes I don't.
Just kicked out of the club for slow plays.
Yeah. Anyways, so we look forward into the PGA of America, and what does the PGA do, and how does it tie to Tualatin? Some of you may or may not know that we had a mentorship conference here. As I mentioned, the actual CEO of PGA of America was here. That's a pretty high honor, and I'm not going to say too much more because I want to be able to have our guest speaker come up and speak on behalf of the PGA. So I want to give everybody a warm welcome to Dominic Marconi. Dominic. Dominic is the Executive Director of the Oregon chapter. He works for the section, but he does an amazing job for all of us pros. He's a central figure. He's in Golf Alliance. He does all these wonderful things for us. We're super grateful to have him here. I literally cannot say enough about this person here. Am I right? So, just a couple things about Dominic as a person, besides the fact that he's a great person. He does have a history. He does have a history outside of being the executive director. He also was 8 years as a director of golf at Pumpkin Ridge, and he was at other places as well before that. So he's got a long history with the game. His son's a wonderful player, went to Oregon State. He's a family guy, but he puts everything into his job that he can. So, and one final thing with Dominic, this is how I can really describe him, is okay, so we have these 5 chapters, 3 of them are not working really well or something's going on. Who do they call to run it besides the chapter here? This guy. So he's running all these chapters all over the place, doing, and it's seamless. You know he's just an amazing person and what he does. So anyway, sorry to embarrass you, but I just wanted to throw that out there. So, all right, Dominic.
Pretty much covered everything I was going to just a little bit, I'll add to what he said about me. So I'm currently the executive director for the Oregon chapter, which is one chapter of our Pacific Northwest section. So we do have 5 chapters within it, and I operate right now for the Oregon chapter. And what he was referring to earlier is we had one of our executive directors go on maternity leave, and so I stepped in and filled in for her. She runs 3 smaller chapters: Central Washington, Inland Empire, which is northern Spokane, northern Idaho, western Montana. So I stepped in for, felt like forever, but it was about 4 months, and kind of helped those chapters kind of get their things going at the beginning of the season. And what I found out by helping them is every one of our chapters across the section do great things. We just do them slightly different. And We don't want anyone to try to do what we do, and we incorporate what other people do, and that's what makes us so unique with our section. I got into the golf business in 1995. So I just graduated college, I graduated from Portland State, and I wasn't really quite sure what I wanted to do, and I knew that I wanted to be in golf, I just didn't know how, and I was working at the Oregon Golf Club in 1995, and a friend of mine says, yeah, you just gotta turn pro. All you do is you write a letter to the PGA saying you're foregoing your amateur status. And I said, oh, wow, that's pretty easy. So it wasn't quite that easy, but I did it and got into the business, and I got my membership in 1999. I've worked at a few clubs here locally, 5 years at Willamette Valley Country Club, 1995 to 99. I spent 5 years up in Seattle working for Okie Golf. I got to open the golf club in Newcastle, which is up in Bellevue, Newcastle area, which was an awesome experience. If any new golf professional gets to do that, highly recommend it. You learn a lot. The workload is massive when you go through that, but it was what I feel prepared me for my future. But being from here, when I went up there, my goal was to come back to Portland. And 5 years later, there was an opportunity at Pumpkin Ridge. I worked for American Golf. I worked for a management company in Seattle with Okie Golf, and got the job. So I spent 8 years with Pumpkin Ridge, and then this opportunity came. And I wasn't quite sure if this is what I wanted to do, so when they put the job description out there of what this job entailed, it kind of matched perfectly with what my expertise was and skills, and so I jumped at it, and I've been doing this since 2012, so going on 14 years now. A little bit about who we are, the Oregon chapter of the Northwest section. So again, as I said, we are one chapter of 5. We are all under the umbrella of the Northwest section. So I work on behalf of all the local club pros in Oregon and Southwest Washington. We have the 4 other chapters. We have 450 members and associates within our Oregon chapter. And that stems from Longview, Kelso, all the way down to Ashland, Central Oregon, out the gorge to Hood River, the Dalles, across the river into Carson, and then over to the one golf course that's at Eastern Burns. Does anybody know that golf course over there? So is that over? We had one golf professional, but we do have. And what we do for our professionals is a number of things, but we play kind of a vital role in preparing them for their next steps and what they do in the future. I've got a picture up here that kind of shows, you guys aren't going to be able to see it, but our section is geographically challenged. It's massive. We have, if you think of the western part of Montana, so Billings, Missoula, that is where the farthest east we go in our section, all the way down to Ashland, all the way up to the Canadian border, and Alaska. We have, I think, 5 or 8 golf professionals in Alaska. So some of the challenges that we have in organizing our events is a tough thing to do. So that's when they decided to break out and do chapters. And we can operate, we've got 450 members in ours, like I said, stemming from Longview, Kelso, all the way down to California border, over to Central Oregon. So we strategically put events in places where our professionals are at. I run probably 65 to 75 golf events a year, starting in March and ending in December. And they're sporadic, they're all over, and there's days where I'm on the road for 5 or 6 days, and then days where I'm home and running events locally, which is great. The Western Washington chapter is a very similar size as ours. They go all the way to the Canadian border, all the way to Longview, just north of Longview, Riverside. The 450 members there. Central Washington has 105 members. These are all approximate numbers, but that is Tri-Cities, Central, Northern Washington, Walla Walla, Hamilton, all of those are in that chapter. And then the Inland Empire, Spokane, north to the Canadian border, McCall, Idaho, McCall. Circling Raven, all of these great golf courses in the Inland Empire. And then Western Montana, which is pretty good. So that's 1,300 members within our section, 450 of them are in Oregon. So pretty massive. What we do, and this is we tell our professionals at every meeting we step up to, our goal is we serve our members when we go to the game. And we serve our members in a number of ways, and that's one, running golf tournaments for them. Player development programming to prepare them for some of their teaching philosophies and things like that. Employment, our goal is we want golf professionals, PGA golf professionals in every facility that there are in the state of Oregon. There are some that don't have any, and we find out that they don't have any, we try to find a way to get in the door, at least make contact with the owners, because as a PGA member, we want to have our professionals everywhere. We do believe we are the experts in the game when it comes to running a facility, managing it, and across the board with teaching, playing, merchandising, and all those things. And then we do professional development, which is our education programming. Again, these are the things that we try to prepare our golf professionals to make them better prepared for where they're at, what they do, how they do it, and prepare them for the future if they decide to move on. And then last thing, one additional thing is our community outreach and charity. So we try to tie everything, or a good portion of what we do, to charity. And I know Chris runs a massive golf trip to Vegas, and he is one of our golf professionals that has a donation component to it. And I think it was last year he donated to PGA Health. So we have golf professionals, just like Chris, all over that do these sorts of things, and we want to promote that because that's important to us. It's important to him, and it's important to you. And you need to know that when you have people in positions like that, when you're able to bring people together in the community that he's done, and you guys make the donations, it goes to a great cause, and we appreciate that. We haven't done such a good job of telling our story, and so we implemented this new committee to help us tell those stories, because we want to promote Chris and tell the world, like, this is what he's doing here, and then we've got professionals all the way up and down the corridor. You're doing the trip again, right? You're doing the trip again, right? And what is your charity of choice?
It's still PGA openings. Don Ray is looking at his schedule right now.
Yeah, awesome. The other thing you wanted me to talk about, well, let me go back. Let me talk about what we did in the last few days. So we showed hands. Who remembers Sean Fredrickson? Good number of you? Yeah. We did a mentoring conference here for the last 2 days. And Sean is very near and dear to in the professional community, very near and dear to a lot of us. For you as members who got the chance to know him, he was a consummate golf professional. He was one that I think a lot of people looked up to. He was a mentor to so many without even realizing that he was a mentor. But the mentoring conference that we did today is really in honor of Sean. For those of you that don't know, Sean started the mentoring conference, I want to say 15 years ago. For whatever reason, we stopped. We tried to bring it back, and Sean was still around. Then COVID hit, didn't get it off the ground, and then it's passing away. And that was a tough time for a lot of people. But we made it a goal of ours to bring that back to kind of rekindle it again. And so with the help of myself and a couple others, our CEO, because doing something like this and making it affordable to our professionals takes a big financial commitment. And so we keep the cost down to all of our professionals who travel in. We keep it $30 to $40 for them, but we provide them with so much. And we bring people in from our chapter, from some other chapters. We pay for all their expenses to come. And, we brought it back 3 years ago. We did it at Royal Oaks to start. I think it was after that, Chris and Jeremy, they raised their hand and said, we want to do it here in honor of Sean. And so coming back here was really cool. I know you guys get to see his golf clubs over there all the time. We love it. We brought the clubs out. We display them for everybody because there's so many new golf professionals in our industry here locally that don't know who Sean is. But we are trying to make it a point of ours to remind everybody that are new, who've been around a long time, that are best friends with Sean, because we want them to never forget who he was. And you as members, you should feel proud that you've got golf professionals in this room, your head professional, your assistant professionals that allow us to do that. And, they're the first ones to say, hey, take it back. We love that his PGA, or his section about professional gear awards that's hung on your wall in there. That's pretty impressive. I did last week, I was making some rounds to Oswego Lake Country Club, which is where he was at in New Pass, and they have a beautiful picture of him, honoring him as well, which is something that's very classy to see, and you guys should be proud of him. So last year we did this, 2 years ago we did this, we had Don Ray, who was the president of the PGA America. This year we got to have the new CEO of the PGA America here. And, you know, they're required to do so many of these throughout the year, but we got on his calendar early enough because we wanted him here. We felt it was important, you know, and then a number of things he talked about today was the Ryder Cup experience. And, you know, he said, you know, there's some things they didn't do very well, there's some things they did fantastic. But for them, they have a review committee and they're going through it because they want to make it better when it's back here in 2020. It's 27, yes. Or it's 29, it's 27 is over in Ireland. But again, he was very open, he talked about it, and it was great because the people in the room wanted to know, they had great questions, and he answered. And the goal was they're always going to get better. So the last 2 days out here was absolutely fantastic because we got to honor Sean, and again, we're carrying this on because he started it, and now we want to make a point for all of our members to know who he was. The next thing is some of the ties to Tualatin for our PGA, for me. So I've been doing this now going on 14 years. I've made a lot of relationships with the members in this room. So the members in this room play in a lot of our events that we conduct. Our professionals that are in this room, they play in our events. They bring the members out. So that's fantastic. But the most important, proud thing for me is you guys employ PGA golf professionals. And you don't employ just one, you employ 2, 3, 4, potentially 5. So that's nice to see. You should be proud of that. Some of the other things that we do is that you guys allow us to do is we get to play some of our events out here. So we host a pro-am out here early in the spring. We host a senior pro-am out here. One of the other events that we host out here because of Sean is our Player of the Year Cup. He said, if we're going to do this, we're going to do it right. He wants to do it here. And that was a big ask at that particular time, but he raised his hand and he got it approved. We were proud to be out here. And we're out here a lot. We're out here for education seminars. We spent 2 days out here with our mentoring conference. We do our board meetings out here. We do committee meetings out here. Again, Tualatin Country Club is a place that we like to come to. You guys are very open and welcoming to us. You've got professionals that invite us to come. And that makes us feel good that we have a place where we can call home too. And then over the years, I've met a lot of members and we have sponsors. So for PGA, doing what we do in some of our golf events, we need some financial help, and we have that because of the relationships that we made here at this club. You know, it starts out as you see somebody once or twice, and then you start to see them a few more times at some of our events. And then they raise their hand and say, hey, how can we help? And sometimes, you know, it's financial, sometimes it's not. But I'm proud that I get to come here quite a bit, very close to me, 20 minutes from home. And it's nice to have the support of the people who are in this room. So thank you very much. We shared this photo today. It's hard to see. I'll have this computer up, but it's a photo of Sean. This was a photo of Sean. He was at our national meeting. He took his picture with all of our PGA trophies, and a couple pictures with Shelby Hunt, who used to work here, and some of his family. So this is a pretty touching picture that we got to share with her today. It means a lot to us, as it should to you. And one of the other things that I am very happy about is when you guys honored him with this out on your deck. And from what I was told, this is a picture of him over on your fire pit outside the putting green. And I guess for the longest time that this was a vision of his that he said, man, it would just be
awesome if we could just put this place out here, a fire pit, and after its passing, you guys honored that and did that on his behalf, so that was pretty impressive. And every time I'm here, I take this picture, I like to tell people about it. It shows a lot about who you are as members, and it's super welcoming when you get out there and see it. This last picture is a picture that we displayed right out the front of this room here. It was a picture of Sean's golf bag with his Golf Professional of the Year plaque. And for all of you that didn't know him, he was a candy man. And all those little things on there are high chips.
Oh my God.
So we have those for everybody the last couple of days. And then we all know Sean was probably he was definitely the best dressed guy in the room as a golf professional. He was somebody that, for those of you know, he was our section president at that time. He was our chapter president. He was a perfectionist. When he was running for the section board, I stood over here just above your putting green, overlooking the ninth hole, and we were taking a video. He said, I gotta have a video. I want people to know who I am, which is, and I still have it too, which is great. It was about a 1 minute video. It took us like 2 hours to shoot a 1 minute video because he looked at it and was like, that's not right. Perfect. So, he was a perfectionist, and then he was a guy who again, was the best dressed guy in the room for golf professionals. We would go to meetings, and he would say, hey, it's golf attire. It's all golf attire. And he shows up in a suit and tie, and he always wore socks that were the best socks in the room. And so we honored him with custom PGA socks. Over the last 2 days, we gave everybody who attended 2 pairs of socks, and we asked everybody today to wear them today. So as the executive director of the Oregon PGA, I just want to thank Tualatin, I want to thank Chris, I want to thank Jeremy, the entire team, Joel and his crew. They did awesome. You should be very proud. Your team was easy to work with. They made it excellent for us. These are the stories we like to tell, especially when things go very well, like the last 2 days. And we can't do it without the support of our professionals and the members who belong here. So thank you very much. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer questions if you have. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Dominic.
All right. On to the next topic. We're going to go through gathering. So golf and gathering is what connects us, just like the Mentorship Conference and how it's so amazing to have all the professionals together. We're really focused on, for the history, like how did we actually get here? So some of you may not know that in 1912, it was less than 8% of people had cars. So they had to go somewhere to get to where they needed to go, so they used trains. And very, very early on, if you can see on the right-hand side there, there's a little, this is golf. So they created a flag station for golf. And I did a whole bunch of research on the history of that specific spot. I went to the Washington County Records Department and found the original deed of that. And there was a right-of-way that allowed the members to walk through that property through the suites. And you want to guess how much it costs to get that right-of-way? $10 in gold piece. It said on that. A $10 gold piece. So that was kind of fun. So as we get going, we think about the gatherings that happen. So obviously this club was founded through the Jewish culture here, and the Concordia Club was really the very, very starting of the club. And so they'd all get together for, it was a decade the Concordia Club was around. And so we just kind of look at all the different clubs that are connected with Tualatin. And as you said, PGA obviously does a lot of things here. As we're trying to figure out our rounds being played, we're trying to figure out how many of these associations should be playing on our peak times. So We're going through that, but we here it's very important to be connected to the community with these groups. And in the history of this club, some of you may or may not know, there's been 57 club presidents, 13 have been business owners, 8 have been attorneys. If you want to know which university has been represented the most, University of Oregon, with 8 grads. Yes. Boo. Yes. Let's see which side I'm on. Okay, so founders of the White Stag, Max Hirsch, familiar with the White Stag? It's very iconic for Portland. Member that was here, he was actually a president. We also have a Hall of Fame football coach, Bob Zelinka, who was a president here, and of course we can't forget the other Mark Harmon, who had a Pac-10 field goal record of 59 yards. He was our president. So we got some cool vibes going on in the presidency. And of course, we also have a lot of board members. So we have 9. It's been pretty consistent throughout its history. We have 60 to 70 committee members approximately right now. We have 8 to 10 committees. All those are part of gathering. So other things we do as a club: card games, book club, wine socials, rules seminars, golf trips. They used to be known for dances and balls here. So like this is a very, very active social club. So when you think of Tualatin, you think of gatherings, and just my short time being here, I think about the fun I have with 9-holers. And so we have some nice pictures of our 9-hole gatherings. And we have a captain that's a 9-holer. Some of you may or may not know she is. Her name's Susan Cartwright. Yes, and we have a lot of fun with her, and she does an amazing job organizing things for the 9-holers. She's been doing it for a few years. Yeah, just a few. So she's been a member since '86, about 39 years. She's been the 9-hole captain on and off for over 30 years. She's also been 28 years at other clubs down in California, 2 different clubs. A lot of experience, a lot of stories to tell. And then, of course, she's raised 3 boys in the proper Lake Oswego High School. That is Lake Ridge. Yes, with Philip, and has 6 grandkids. So I would be very honored and appreciative to have everybody give a round of applause for our 9-hole captain. Please come up here, Susan Cartwright.
So Chris asked me to speak. I'd say no, and he called me and say yes. So I'd say no, and he called me and say yes. And he said, can you just talk a little bit about how the 9-hole group started? And the 9-hole group started, 38 years ago. We would stand on hole number 10, and 3 or 4 of us would show up. We'd go, okay, it's good, we can go now. And that went on for several years, but pretty soon we had 8 people. And then we had 12 people, and we thought, oh my gosh, we can have a league. And so that's when we created our league. And at that time, there was no 9-hole handicapping. Somebody had to do that all the time by hand. There was no Chris to help us with who won tournaments, who did all this stuff. So the goal was to make the 9-hole group a destination instead of just a pass-through. And at this point, we have 98 9-holers.
I don't know if there's another 9-hole group in the area that has that many, so that's fantastic.
What I love about the 9-hole group is that we have ladies that volunteer for everything. We have people that volunteer to do the invitational, which is when we ask other clubs. We have people that volunteer to do our guest day. We have lunches and scrambles at the end of every month, in which we give out days play prizes. And we have somebody who does raffle prizes for us. We also have 4 tournaments a year, so we have somebody who gives out tournament prizes. So it's just a fun group, and I can't tell you how warm and welcoming and supportive they are. So thank you.
You had a long time here, and how does this place feel like to you? Does it feel like just some random place, or?
This place feels like home. I love coming here. Everybody's so nice and it just feels so welcoming. And I just, yes, Jen?
When will you know that it's time for you to not be president?
I was told I could not be president of the 9-hole group anymore when I finally figured out how to do it.
All right, well, I'm just gonna say a couple words for Susan. Thank you, Susan, good job. Susan has shared her heart with me a bunch of times, and one of the things that really impressed me about this place and the culture here is just how much they care for each other. When she was going through her health scares, she was just blown away with the amount of support that she had. She had no idea. She didn't think people like, I don't know if people like people came and just supported her like crazy. So, a lot of times when you're at a club, you don't always necessarily know where you stand. But for her and her experience in being here, she just loves it. She loves being here, and it's her most favorite thing. So, and every time she talks, just grateful, grateful, grateful. And that's the type of people that we have here. So, it's one of the reasons why I want her to come up and speak. So, all right, so we're going to have a short little break, and then we're going to go through golfing competition. I'm going to add one more little picture for everybody to think about. The old 9-hole closing day. We surprised her. She was very unsure about the penguin outfit and flamingo, excuse me. So we all dressed up with her and made it fun. All right, I'm not going to keep that too long for you today. Okay. All right. Take a little break and then we'll be back in a few minutes. Thank you. All right, so on the theme with golf and gathering, we're going to go and look at the game of golf and kind of what you need in order to be considered a top-end golf course, and that is a look into competition. As many of you know, Chandler Egan, his name resonates here. Chandler was a gold medal winner, USA Amateur winner, very, very well regarded as a player. And so for his existence here at Tualatin, even though it was a short time, he made the longest hole in the Northwest at the time, hole number 6, it was over 600 yards. And so competition was woven through the beginning of the club, and it really sets a tone for its future. So as we all know, with technology and how things are, including Jeremy, who doesn't hit as far with his hickories, as he does with his Callaway Elite drivers. Callaway, the #1 brand. And I'm on staff with Callaway. All right, so landing competition. So I've done a lot of work with the lane. I'm trying to find little things that's unique about Tualatin. There's something that's extremely unique. 1887, John Sweet arrived, came up with the idea of making Tualatin a town. So he sketched it on a pad right here. This is his John Sweet's handiwork in 1887. Lined it all up. He said, I'm going to make 8 blocks. All right, and 2 blocks north. You can kind of see right up there. And if you transpose it onto our property, that's on the golf course. So when you look at the condos off number 12, that is a part of the original 1887 plan there, and it was named Jefferson Street. So kind of a cool little look into the past as we go into the land. And here you can see the golf course itself, nothing other than just these holes. You can see some of the holes being fairly short, like hole number 1 was 260 yards. As a par 4, our current hole number 10. That's not going to work nowadays. So what do we got to do? Well, we got to get some land. We got to get some more land to do that. And of course, we had a guy out there that had an idea, and he said, let's get some land. We got a little hook called Land Hook, as I found it. And when you bought Land Hook, without everybody knowing, I went and found this and was kind of amazed. We found a little 1/4 acre spot on Cook Park. So we can call ourselves Tualatin Tiger Country Club, if you like. Or we could like set up a little business over there, you know, I don't know. But it's a very neat little spot there that we own as a club. We pay taxes on it and it's a real thing, so congratulations on that. And a little tiny sliver right by the baseball field.
Is that across the river? Is that?
Yeah, it's across the river.
Is it across from Ames?
Yeah, across from Maine. So I was talking to the historian over Waverly about our little plot of land across the river. He goes, oh yeah, we found that at Waverly too. We had a little tiny spot across the river way out in the corner. So, you know, why are we having these little, you know, weird land spots? You know, what does that actually entail? How does that occur? Well, some of you have done some hiking and have seen there's a little park. It's called the Willamette Meridian Stone. And kind of the middle picture there, you can see the entire Northwest was established through that one stone. Everything goes off of that. It goes straight up to Tacoma, goes straight down. So that little stone there runs north and south, and it runs right by a hospital that's aptly named Meridian Hospital. That's right. So that's how close we are to the Meridian line. And over to the right, you can see just how the land was put out. So obviously we need to get some land. Let's see, who should we talk to about getting some land and redesign the course? Anybody know somebody that might be good? Let's see here. Oh, Jack Nicholas. How about John Foe? He's actually a member here. Won back-to-back PGA Tour with undefeated Walker Cup play, U.S. Amateur win, this one. Only other person to do it was Jack Nicholas. As the story goes, John Jack had playing, and he's like, hey, are you interested in some architecture? And Jack says, I'll get you a hold of Bob Cup, and the two of them kind of went off and created a plethora of golf courses. We were kind of one of the first that he did, and we also can kind of see his picture there next to a trophy you might be familiar with, U.S. Amateur. As I looked at all the private clubs in our area, there's not one single U.S. Amateur winner that came from the club in our area except for Tualatin Country Club. Yes. I wanted to kind of give everybody a little sense of history here. If anybody goes to Waverly, if somebody in Waverly would have won a U.S. Amateur, it would be all over the place. Like, it would just be unbelievable, right? They'd just be like statues and everything else. So the fact is they didn't get it. So that's too bad for them. But Tualatin has that as its resume of elite ranked amateurs having come through here and one of the best architects in the world. Designed over 75 golf courses. He's doing 4 projects currently this year. He's unbelievably talented and gifted and super focused on his career in golf. So we're very fortunate to have him here, and we had him here last time. And so if anybody that wants to hear him speak, I got a bunch of stuff you guys can look at on my YouTube page. So anyway, so leading up into John Foe, we also have some competitive golfers here, and we just want to highlight a few that happened this year. So let's go back here. We got Cohen Gladheim, who shot 66 in the round 1. Young Cohen, with a great round. And we got the Nigel Letts, made the final 32. Congratulations, Nigel. And then the year prior, and he made it to, I think, was it the quarters or the semis, something up there. Semis, yeah. He's good. He's all right. He's all right. And then we have this guy called Greg Douglas. If you guys are familiar with this guy over here on the right. Not too bad. Getting into the round of 16th best player in the state. Not too bad for even better person. Greg is a great guy and hits the ball long ways. And yeah, needing sort of mental health, he can help you with that too. No. Okay. That's what he does. Okay, here we go. And then we also have some amazing achievements this year. Okay, so most of you hopefully know Paige Mesher. You guys are familiar with that name here. Anyway, so Paige, he made holes in ones and all three par threes made the Grand Slam. How's that going to be possible? It's never going to happen again. And then Al shows up and says, I'm going to do you one better. And it's not going to ever happen again, I don't think. He's made holes in ones in every single par three, including the old golf course. So, pretty amazing achievement by Al. Al's not here, right? Al's not here. But if he was here, we would show him this plaque. And right down at the bottom it says, my work here is done. Pretty impressive stuff. So, and then of course we have our left-handed board member, Lane Hawkinson, who won the second national title as a senior. Congratulations, Lane. And then we've got some amazing performance as well with Alex Carney winning her second flight in Oregon Senior Women's Amateur, and Hannah Swanson, some of you may not know, she qualified for the U.S. Mid-Am this year and was only 2 strokes shy from making match play. She played really well. So congratulations to Hannah. She also won the championship. And we have the hot Brad Hawkins winning for the second time as a club champion. And we've got some other people to talk about. We also have Tualatin Country Club. Who those handsome guys are. And then we also have a young man who could not be here. His parents are here. Jenny's Olkey. I want parents to stand up, say hi to everybody. Very responsible. James is a fine young man. He wanted to share his thoughts to all of you. So I'm going to do my best Jenny's impression here. Here we go. I wish I could join everyone at the club tonight, but I'm still in school at Iona University right now. My finish at the Oregon Amateur was very special because it was held on the course where I learned to play golf. I started out playing junior league for Brandon back when I was 10 years old. And my mom has some funny videos of me from those days. I had played with my brother and dad since our family joined TCC for a long time, and I was the caboose in our family story. I'm not any longer. I decided at about 12 that baseball wasn't for me, and I really found my love for the game of golf. Once COVID hit, my mom would drop me off at TCC almost every day, and I spent so much time here. I played competitively through Oregon junior golf tournaments, and I also played 4 years of varsity golf for Tiger. This was our home course from my high school too, which is always great. And this year was the first year I played in the Oregon Am, and I was excited to see how our club would set the course up. It was in most perfect condition I've ever seen it. The greens were difficult, and it was so fun to compete on such perfect Northwest greens. The Oregon Am was an experience I'll never forget, and was so special to have it here on my home course. Congratulations. We made it all the way to the finals. That is the highest finish any Tualatin member has ever had at the U.S. or the Oregon Am, and it was hosted here, which is just an amazing achievement. So, what a special moment for his young career. Can't wait to see what happens in his future. So, and so we also have a special guest today, and we're going to talk a little about him. We also have a champion, Zach Couchet. I'm not going to say too much about Zach. He's going to come up here and speak a little bit. We'll do a little Q&A. But I wanted to highlight a little bit of his performances before he comes up and speaks. So I went through hole by hole. As some of you with match play, you know it's not really an accurate score. Sometimes you pick up or whatever. But for him to be able to perform as well as he did for 3 straight years is just incredible. And I've got all the scores up there that you can look at. I think he was, 39 under par for the entire week. And he was 29 under at Oswego Lake, and he was 20 under at Pumpkin Witch Hollow. So 3 straight years of just dominating performances. In his finals, he was 8-7, 10-8, 10-8. And this year, he finally was the medalist, and he won. So it was just a complete domination. And to win 3 straight, it's not very easy to do. It's only been done twice in the history of 100 years. Last time it was done was by Frank Golf almost 90 years ago, something like that. So that's very, very rare. So I just want to have Zach come up here. He's ready. Thank you.
Oh, wow, what an introduction. I didn't know those scores, but I just want to say thanks for having me here, and thanks for giving up your golf course in June. I know it's tough because I think it's in May. Typically, you guys punch, or most courses around here punch, and that's a week of golf that you guys miss out on. So I just want to say thank you from all the players that we could.
Yes. So I played golf with Zach the first time, and he wowed me with just how consistent he was hitting the golf ball. And he was like hitting his driver, and he's like, I don't know, it's like it's going a little right, it's going left, and we're like winning. He's like, it's going a little right or left, and I was talking with his friend Henry Westcott, who he won the Northwest Pro-Am, that he wanted me to share a little story that they were out there winning the tournament. And he comes up to Zach, and Zach comes up to him and he goes, yeah, I'm feeling something weird in my, like, you give lessons, like, I'm feeling something in my right arm. He's like, dude, we're winning. What's going on here?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's just me being picky. It's just the way I've always done it. And it's honestly, it's a fault.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did have something going on with my swing. 100 played great, and yeah, we ended up getting it done.
Yeah, okay, so we're going to do a little bit of your history. You started playing the game of golf. What was kind of the thing that got you really excited early on to be like, I think this is going to be my sport?
Well, originally basketball was my favorite sport, and then I looked at my mom, who's 4'10", and knew that wasn't going to be an option. I actually tried out for my high school freshman basketball team. I moved from Tiger to Westland, and freshman coach cut me, and I was pretty good at basketball. I was a shooter, and he's like, dude, you're not gonna. I mean, this is kind of mean of him to say, but he's like, you're not gonna play later in life, you know, in college or whatnot. And he's like, I know you're good at golf, so stick to that. And so I did, and it paid off. So yeah, basketball was my first love.
Yeah, that's my sport too. So lot of, you know, competitive and hand-eye coordination, all that.
Yeah.
Okay, so a little bit of your story through golf. So you got a scholarship at the University of Oregon, is that correct?
Yeah.
And talk me through about kind of your career at the University of Oregon, highlighted by a
Championship.
yes.
Yeah, well, in high school, whenever, I think it was sophomore year, when you start deciding on where to go to school, I was actually committed to BYU verbally committed for 6 to 8 months. Grew up Mormon, the whole thing. Parents got a divorce. I decided this wasn't going to be the right path for me, and I called Casey Martin and I said, hey, you got a spot for me. Originally, it was a better scholarship, but he squeezed some things around at the time, and he got me a decent scholarship at the time. What was the question?
Well, you know, something happened while you were part of the Ducks.
The championship. Yeah, that was senior year, but yeah, I mean, it was it was the best decision of my life to switch to go to Oregon. Freshman year, it was a little shaky. I mean, you're so mature, and I don't know if any of you guys know Casey Martin, but he is intense. He'll make you mature very quickly. And you know, growing up Mormon, I didn't drink until I got to college, and that was he shaped us up pretty quick. And then senior year, we had a good team, you know, a year or two before that, but then Aaron came in, Aaron Wise, and it just kind of took off from there. We had a pretty bad fall that year, but we knew if we got to regionals, if we got past regionals, we were going to host the NCAA's at Eugene Country Club. And we ended up playing good at regionals, our final round, and got through. And that was a special week in 2016. I graduated that year. It was my birthday that week, and we won the championship. So.
Municipal Hospital on the final match. It was a really tough match for him.
Yeah, that was a bummer. That was a bummer. I mean, he was one of the best players in the country at the time. And
You know the play, he was hurt, right?
yeah, he was hurt. But the problem was he warmed up the whole thing. I thought I was ready to go.
Yeah.
Or I warmed up at least. He was getting work done in the trainer's room.
I think we should do that for the Ryder Cup, no envelopes too.
Yeah, I call it the Fouché rule, but really it's probably the Hosser rule. But now you can bring a substitute to the NCAA. So, yeah. So no half point, no full point.
Yeah, so he's a rules guy, changes the rules of the game.
Yeah.
All right, so as I got to know you just a little bit, we played. Before that, you had just kind of come off the Canadian tour. You were playing, you know, really good golf, like 66, 67, 68, and it was kind of an eye-opening experience, right?
Yeah, Canadian tour, yeah. Or just any professional golf at that level. Pretty good story I have actually is it was one of the tournaments up in Canada my first year. I teed off in the morning on Thursday and Friday afternoon, and the opposite way it goes Thursday afternoon, Friday morning. And I teed off and shot even par. It wasn't that good of a round. And I believe it was Tyler Montgomery. What's his name? He's on tour now. He shot 10 under Thursday afternoon. And then Friday morning went out and shot 8 under. So before my second round, I was 18 shots back. I had to birdie every hole to be tied with him. Yeah. The whole would be pretty bad. But that was eye-opening. And those guys were really good out there. I mean, at every level. So.
Yeah, so obviously, I mean, you can play, but that next level professional, I don't think people realize, there's just such a different, it's incredible. So anyways, you come back, you decide I'm gonna get back to the amateur world. Sounds like that was a good decision.
Yeah. I'm having a blast playing amateur golf, but it's not for your living. It's a lot different. The pressure is way different. I don't think people really understand how expensive it is to go out and play professional golf. Like even up in Canada, when the Canadian dollar was 70 cents to the US dollar at the time, I was still spending $1,800 a week, which doesn't sound like a lot, but you play 14 times, and then you play mini tour events and Q school, which is 10 grand. It starts to add up, and that was ultimately the decision of turning the amateur game. It's just financially, you gotta have a lot of money to go out there and play.
Yeah, Ben Crane, he had like a 3-year commitment with all the Portland members, and that seemed to kind of,
Yeah.
he didn't get any status like at the very, very end.
You gotta give it time, or just take advantage of an opportunity you get.
Yeah, so I want to kind of switch gears here because we are here at Tualatin, very special place. Kind of walk us through, because you had some things going on before you even showed up to play. There was some things going on in your
Big
life.
event happened. My daughter was born on my birthday, actually, June 8th. My name's Leila. She was expected to be here on June 12th, and I believe the Oregon game started on the 14th. So it was not looking good, early on. And then as we got closer to everything, she decided to come 4 days early on June 8th. And that was the hardest part of that 2-week span, was convincing my wife to let me. But labor went great, and we figured it out. I have parents here and lots of stuff. But yeah, that made the whole tournament obsolete in my head. I didn't even think about a 3-peat once. I was just trying to figure out how to hold a baby, change diaper, get a bottle. I didn't know how to do any of that stuff.
There's something that happens to you when you have a child.
Yeah.
That's really cool. You have that perspective. Because I think a lot of people would be feeling the pressure. You want to be able to do something that's historic. Like it really hasn't been done.
Yeah.
Other than like 100 years ago almost. So
I feel like if you think that way, you're just not going to accomplish it. You put too much pressure on yourself. And I've had people come up to me and tell me I look, just calm out there. It was probably because I was getting 2 hours of sleep. But yeah, it was just it was at the back of my head.
yeah, so you had one of your friends kind of give you a tip. I was listening to some of the comments you made afterwards. And it was about just kind of how you approach the game and how it's changed over the years. I used to watch a lot of collegiate players, and it was like everybody just going for the flag, and you're just like short side. You're like, man, these guys have so much talent that they just shoot 75s. It could be a 68 or 69. And I kind of was like, listen to your comments. Do you want to share kind of what that was that kind of helped you kind of refocus or potentially give you this obviously incredible scoring achievement?
Yeah, I would say, it was a culmination of a lot of stuff, but watching Robbie Ziegler play, he's played in, I think, 14 or 15 USGA events. Wow. I think the key is just not to play towards the flag and just keep the flag as like a reference point to your target. So play away from trouble and just be smart. Especially in Oregon, the courses are pretty short. So you're going to have a lot of wedges in, par 5s that are reachable, and birdies will come to you. And I think when you just start pushing your game too much, then you start making mistakes. And that's, in match play, for me, I just hate giving up holes. You just can't give up a hole. You do, then it lets the other guy back in. And
You did okay with that.
Yeah. That pumpkin was pretty good. I was never down in a match.
Yeah, that second year got really close. You almost lost that first match.
Yeah, I've been playing good. It's not working.
I do want to put on my teaching hat just a little bit. All of you that are listening to this, you already said, right? Don't go for every flag. He's probably playing. Well, I think he is playing the best amateur golf of anybody, and he's saying, "Don't go for the flag."
I do have a stat that I want to share.
Yes, please.
See if you guys can guess the difference between a scratch golfer and a 13 handicap birdie-wise per round. Paige, give me your answer.
4 birdies.
1.3. So a scratch golfer makes 1 1/3 more birdies than a 13 handicap per round.
Not with the sandbaggers out here at 12.
So the difference is
We're talking gross.
the 13 handicaps make big numbers and or a lot of bogeys, and that's typically hitting it out of play, but usually it's just from being just back further from the hole. So if I can give any tips, it's just hit the gym this winter, hit the ball further, hit it as far as you can, because your strokes will go down, I promise.
Very, 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 very.
Hardest hole for me? The one that was in my head the most was probably 19. Just because, Brentwood did put an open stake in the middle of the fairway, felt like. 12's a hard drive. If you're hitting driver. Yeah, probably those two holes, I'd say.
What was the first one? 14?
19 ball.
Oh, 19.
Both team
Oh,
balls
you said
on
19
12.
holes.
You said 19 balls.
No, not 19, I can do that.
Okay, so, you got a lot of experience with tournaments. Really appreciate your insight into the game. I remember playing with you and I made a couple of errors and you could just hear, I could just feel your presence of like, Chris, what are you doing? Like, yeah, no judgment. I know. We were figuring off, it's easy to pick on the wrong spot, so. Anyways, so we, kind of transitioned from your round in that week. I want you to kind of, these are the 12 members, it's their course. They probably have their own perspective of their golf course. But I want you to, speak upon your experience here as it relates to how you play all the golf courses that you play throughout the country competitively. How does Tualatin stand up, or what do you think?
Well, I mean, this place is always in spectacular shape. You guys got to give your super raise. This place is.
I agree with
It's always clear, the fairways are always perfect, and spots really, the greens are firm, quick. I think one downside to this place, if I'm just being honest, is it's too short, for, at least at the Oregon, the way they set it up. I mean, some of the guys, I was able to reach a third of the holes under regulation. And so you just don't see that at like USGA events and all this stuff. I understand we're landlocked and most golf courses around Oregon have that problem. But yeah, throughout the country, Northeast golf is like the pinnacle of golf. They got so much land out there, it's so much different. But I love this place. This is like it's top 3 for me in the state, just primarily because it's always in great condition.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I have my list, a short list, it's like 5 golf courses that are number one private. I feel like Tualatin fits right in there. So,
It's a special place.
and I also think the condition, just can't rave enough about what is actually happening out there. So, I guess finally, you have this unique perspective of the game, being a competitor, and trying to stay one shot at a time, and not like getting ahead of yourself. And I know we all kind of struggle with that at times. So, you're here. We would love to kind of like, what's your little, not secret, but like, how do you get yourself mentally and everything ready? Because this is not normal to win 3 straight. Like that's not a normal thing. There's got to be something inside of you.
There's no secret, I promise. I think for me, I have an advantage because I played for 29 years and competitively for 23 years. So I've been doing it for a long time. I think that makes a big difference, especially when it's a little higher stakes. But really, I try to not, I care, obviously, I'm competitive, I want to win, but I try to just not care. Like if I hit a bad shot, I know I'm good enough to make 3 to 5 birdies per round, and if I make a bogey or hit a bad shot, then I just got to move on. So I know it's not going to be like, hopefully it's not going to be kind of a consistent thing, but there's really no secret. I think it's just experience, and I care a lot about winning. It's in my personality. I don't know.
That's really, I was talking with Bruce Stewart, he's a teacher of the year.
Yeah.
And he was talking about when you have a difficult shot, and teaches it to all the students and why they're so great, is that like, how do you prepare yourself for that next shot and be excited when you're in trouble? Kind of like what you're saying, kind of letting it go. And
You just gotta reset.
kind of reset your mind, be able to
Go to your happy place.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's like you want to win so bad, right? And like, how do you not get yourself ahead?
Yeah, you just gotta stay present. Oh, you start thinking of the past and the future, you're just gonna psych yourself out.
So what gets you into that mode? How do you like?
I was gonna say besides 6 high minutes.
Yeah.
I don't really know. I don't have an answer for you.
I would think you just kind of work on your ability to stay in the present. You say that how something you use.
Yeah, and just, like I said, just not worrying about what happened in the past.
Yeah.
I think you just gotta move on, you just gotta accept that.
Yeah, just
get it
like,
out of bounds.
Just like how you make a mistake and you move on. So, all right, does anybody else have any questions for Zach?
Yeah, you gonna make it 4 this year?
It's at Riverside next year. I just got wrist surgery on October 21st. I got a bone spur removed. So I'm hoping I can start playing again next year, early next year. I could probably do it now, but let me get some time. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. Riverside, I don't typically play great there. Usually go.
Looks like he doesn't need to.
We'll see. Yeah, I'm gonna dial it back at that golf course and probably get some more driving irons off the tee. So I don't know. We'll see.
Well, good luck.
Thank you.
Have another kid. All right, before we go, I want to say thank you to all of you for allowing me to become part of the team and Tualatin, feeling like I'm one of the group here that people enjoy hanging out with. And I feel the love every day I come to work. And I can't also thank enough the person that keeps it all together for me at home and takes care of her child. And she's here today, Ashley. All right. Thanks, everybody.